Let me tell you something. People will take your kindness for weakness until the day that weakness gets tired and decides to walk away. He never thought I would leave. But one day, I did. And that day changed my entire life. I'm about to tell you a story that might feel like your own. A story about loving somebody so much you forget to love yourself. A story about carrying a relationship on your back while the other person dragged their feet. A story about pain, but also about power. Because sometimes God will let a storm shake your world, just so you can finally see who's holding the umbrella and who's just standing there, watching you get wet. From the beginning, He knew something about me. He knew I was loyal. He knew I forgave easily. He knew I tried to keep the peace. And because He knew all that, He thought I would never leave. Every argument ended the same way. He would say something hurtful. I would cry. He would apologize. And I would take him back. It became a cycle, a routine, almost like a script we kept repeating. Except I was the only one acting in good faith. And every time I forgave him, his respect for me dropped just a little bit lower. Let me pause right there, because psychology has a name for this. It's called the reward-punishment loop. You get hurt. You forgive. You reassure them that no matter what they do, you're not leaving. You think forgiveness will bring peace. But to some people, it only shows them that they can get away with anything. One day, we had a disagreement. Not even a serious one. But he snapped. Words came out of his mouth that don't ever go back in. Words you can forgive, but you never forget. And when he realized he went too far, he apologized. Flowers, gifts, text messages with paragraphs. He even cried a little. And for a moment, I thought maybe he really understood. Maybe this time he would change. But psychology teaches something powerful. People don't change because they hurt you. They change because they don't want to lose you. And he knew he wasn't going to lose me. Not yet. So nothing changed. There was one night, one argument, one moment. That changed everything. I don't even remember what we argued about. But I remember what he said. If you don't like it, leave. That hit me hard. Because he didn't say it in anger. He said it like he really believed I had nowhere else to go. He said it like he owned my soul. Like my world would fall apart without him. But the truth is, my world was already falling apart with him. Then something strange happened. When I didn't react the way he expected. When I didn't cry. When I didn't beg. When I just turned around and went silent. He panicked. Why? Because silence is powerful. Silence is evidence of a decision forming in your heart. Silence means, I'm no longer fighting for something you're not fighting for. I woke up one morning, and I felt nothing. Not anger. Not sadness. Not fear. Just nothing. That's the kind of peace that comes after a long storm. The peace that isn't loud. But it's powerful. I didn't make an announcement. I didn't argue. I didn't wait for him to change. I didn't wait for a final apology. I just packed my things and walked out the door. And you know the funny thing? That was the day he finally realized something. I had the strength to leave the whole time. I just didn't want to. Leaving wasn't the hard part. Accepting the truth was. But once I accepted it, there was no turning back. And when he saw me walking away, suddenly he wanted to try. Suddenly he wanted to talk. Suddenly he wanted to fix everything. But it was too late. You can only break a heart so many times before it stops coming back. He said things like, "You're overreacting. You're breaking the home. You're giving up too easily. You think anybody else will love you like I do." And that's when I realized something deep. Some people don't fear losing you. They fear losing control over you. There's a difference. He didn't want me back because he loved me. He wanted me back because I stopped being predictable. I stopped playing the role he wrote for me. I stopped being the version of me that tolerated disrespect. And when a person can no longer take you for granted, you become a threat. Let's break it down. 1. Familiarity makes people blind. When you give too much, people stop seeing your value. 2. Consistency becomes dependence. If you always come back, they assume you always will. 3. Emotional labor is invisible. They don't notice what you carry until you drop it. 4. Some people mistake tolerance for weakness. Your patience becomes their playground. They don't believe you'll leave because you don't believe you'll leave. Asterisk, asterisk. Until the day. Let me tell you something powerful. When you leave someone who drains you, you don't lose a relationship. You regain yourself. I found my peace, my clarity, my confidence, my joy, my self-respect. I realized I had been shrinking myself just to fit into a space that wasn't even meant for me. And once I left, life started opening up because God will never elevate you in a place you don't belong. Sometimes the blessing is not a new person. Sometimes the blessing is the strength to walk away from the wrong one. Listen to me. If you are in a situation where someone keeps hurting you, but expects you to stay, remember this. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. Forgiveness is godly. Endurance is admirable. But losing yourself is not love. You don't have to shout. You don't have to fight. You don't have to prove a point. Sometimes the strongest thing you'll ever do is pack your peace and walk out the door. And trust me, the day you decide to leave, everyone will finally see your value. But by then, you won't need their validation anymore. He never thought I would leave until I did. And that day was the first day I came back home to myself. If my story touched you, if it sounds like your story, if it opened your eyes or gave you strength, then let this be your reminder. You deserve a love that doesn't hurt, a love that doesn't punish, a love that doesn't break you, a love that doesn't take you for granted. And until you find that love, be that love to yourself. If you related to this story, if it spoke to your heart, if you felt something shift inside you, hit like, comment your story below, subscribe for more psychology-based life lessons, and share this video with someone who needs strength today. Because you never know. Your story might help someone walk out of a storm they were never meant to live in.